Week number 4 of Bronco on the Go here at Bam Bam's, and you come into this week 3-0, and that doesn't happen too often. We talked about this last week, but remember the last time you were 3-0?
No.
2008. Does that even ring any kind of bell whatsoever to you?
Nope.
You got to 6-0.
Really?
Before you lost.
Dang. Who beat us?
TCU.
Really?
Down in Fort Worth. Oh yeah, it happened. The 3-0 included the 59. In fact, I think the 59-0 UCLA game was the third game in that start. Now it's starting to ring a bit of a bell. Scott Johnson?
No. A fumble on our sideline.
Scott Johnson caused it, I think.
Oh, he did?
I think he lit the guy up.
Okay, then, Scott Johnson.
Yeah. If this play we're talking about, guy comes around the edge toward your sideline, Scott popped him, and
that's it.
That's the one.
Okay, nice memory.
Memorable play. So 3-0, got to 6-0 before you lost, but again, it doesn't happen all the time.
What was our record?
Finished 10-3. Opened 6-0, finished 4-3.
11-2 would have been better.
Would have been better.
Yeah.
So at 3-0, even though it doesn't maybe compare to the 3-0 of 2008 because it's tough to remember, what has happened right so far for you and your guys?
We have a really good quarterback. We have a defensive culture and system that keeps the points down. We have more depth at every position on our team, and we have confidence and chemistry.
What was the biggest difference between, because you had that guy, Taysom Hill, last year. You had a lot of these same defensive guys in the system that you have this year. What's the biggest difference from last year to this?
Maybe the transition from maybe being a first-year head coach to a second-year head coach and what can happen there. So Taysom going through a first season of the ups, the downs, the away games, the home games, the short weeks, the long weeks, the injuries, and now having done it and doing it again. And so, man, so many lessons that you can learn and apply and just be better at the second time. Not only better, but more poised, more controlled. Your vision is expanded where, yeah, each play does matter, but the game and how you manage that also matters. And so being able just to have a little bit broader perspective.
Of course, it was Robert's, first games of his second stint. Taysom running that offense for the first time. That has to be a huge factor, seeing it, having gone through a season.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and something I should have mentioned. No question, the familiarity with the system, besides just running the system for the first time, also being in the system for the first time, both those things make it more difficult.
You mentioned first thing up was Taysom Hill, having a special quarterback. You've mentioned to me, maybe most recently, his last post game. I don't know that I've ever coached an athlete quite like him or something along those lines.
Well, Taysom is a unique combination. He's poised, he's mature, he's very intelligent, he's passionate about his school, he's passionate about his faith, he's passionate about his marriage, and he's passionate about football. He's a balanced player. So there are great quarterbacks that are not necessarily balanced, that are football only, and then maybe their life off the field, not so good. Or they're great at football, their life in the classroom, not quite what maybe we'd hope for. Or they're great on the field and they're still kind of trying to find themselves in what they believe. None of those things are bad, but Taysom just brings a sense of maturity and balance and stability and achievement in all those areas at the same time. And so now if you're saying from a representation not only on the field, but to be the most visible part maybe of BYU's football team at that position, I don't worry because whatever setting he's in, he just does outstanding.
We haven't talked about this a lot. In a lot of ways, did Taysom kind of drop into your lap? I mean,
sure.
he was committed to another different high-profile program. A matter of timing may have meant all the difference in you getting Taysom Hill.
No question he dropped into our lap, and a lot of it was our fault from not really doing a great job of identifying, recruiting, evaluating Taysom as he came out of high school.
Up in Idaho?
Yeah, and so our recruiting system and our processes weren't nearly as developed as what I would have hoped at that time. And so, not to say that he wouldn't have chosen Stanford anyway, but we really didn't make it hard for him to choose Stanford. So chooses Stanford, goes on his mission, and really it wasn't some revelation of while he's on his mission that he didn't want to go back to Stanford. He actually did, but they didn't accept mid-year enrollees. So I believe he was told he could enroll. There was a coaching change during that time. The information really wasn't accurate. They don't allow players or students to enroll in January. And so Taysom then, and only then, considered BYU. His mission president reached out to us and said, you know what, are you interested? He'd like to come to BYU. And it was like, yeah.
Of course, another option was end your mission 4 months early, and he definitely didn't want to do that.
He didn't, and we specialize in missionaries, and we specialize in accommodating those that want to play football, want to continue their education and serve. extend, shorten, stay right on track, however they would like to do it. Football works around that to make sure that we can meet their needs and make sure they can have the balance they hope for.
When he suffered the injury in the Utah State game of 2 seasons ago, did you at that point have any doubts that we may not see him maximize his potential here at BYU?
I didn't have any doubts, but I was really frustrated just in how I, as the coach, and how our organization managed the end of the game to even
have him in that spot.
It wasn't necessary for him to be in that spot, and so to his credit, he goes full speed and tried to run someone over and make things happen. It was not his fault. It was my fault and the organization's fault. But I didn't doubt whether he would be back, nor I didn't doubt whether he'd be capable of returning to maybe certainly the level he was and maybe even beyond that.
So is he even better than you thought he could be, or is he about back to where you thought he could be?
I think he's better than what I expected or thought he would be at this time. And certainly as I get different comments here, you can pick apart anyone's game, this show, our performance, and there's always something to improve, but he's a really good player, a really good athlete, a fantastic person, and I'm not sure we'll have another quarterback like him at BYU. That's just my assessment. Not having coached the former greats, man, he's an amazing person and athlete.
We're going to get on to some other things, but if you had to pick a Taysom Hill on the field moment and a Taysom Hill off the field moment that kind of symbolizes maybe how you characterize him.
So off the field, I'll just give the most recent. We're at Texas celebrating in the locker room, and it's just mayhem. There's guys pushing each other in laundry bins and ice buckets, and just you can't hear or see anything. And so I'm just letting that happen, and not quite sure. Normally we end up every game with a prayer and express gratitude, and so I'm watching this happen, and so I'm kind of removing myself and stepping back, and not quite sure when and how we're gonna pull that off. And Taysom goes through the mayhem and comes to me and says, are you ready for our prayer? And he then steps in the middle of all that and brings the team together, and then allows me to come in and be the leader when he actually just completely led and set the tone for that. And then I would say on the field, again, there's so many memories or so many instances, but just recently it took 2 first downs to close out the game against Houston. It was a 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 or 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. That's not as relevant other than he just ran over a guy, reached out the ball, and got us a first down when we needed it. And
to save ball game.
Exactly right, which not many quarterbacks, not many running backs, not many people can do that. And he just finds a way to do it and does it gracefully. And so it's fun to be able to have memories from a week ago, not a season ago, to be able to recall. And he'll do that. He'll do something again this week in all areas I could use next week.
Yeah, on that play, people expected you to win the game comfortably. It turned out to be a closer game, but at that moment, his fist pump said, I don't care what 23-0 felt like, we got this win.
Exactly right, and he earned it, we earned it, we worked hard for it. It wasn't perfect, but it was earned, and we have a good football team, and there's an area or two that could be cleaned up that would have led to maybe, who knows, 30-something to 7 or 10, but a mistake here or there, a play that they make here or there, Houston makes, and it's closer. And Taysom ends up closing out the game with first downs to help us win.
3-0 is 3-0. Now you get Virginia coming in, a team that handed you the loss to start last season. So there are some disappointing memories associated with Virginia, but I'm sure a lot of optimism in terms of how much different maybe you guys are.
We really like this game. They have improved a lot, as have we. Man, that game was it was almost like an episode from the movie series Lost or something.
Just kind of surreal, wasn't it?
Surreal and eerie, and time delays and game delays, and we think we have it won, and then there's a ball slipping interception, and it's like, what just happened? And then a long ride home of contemplation. However, both teams have made progress since then. Both teams have started strong this year, and it really is an intriguing game. And you never know when you schedule or when you have a schedule set, what that's going to look like and how the teams are going to be playing.
Looks good now.
The fans that come to this one, Saturday at 1:30, man, I think they'll see a really good game.
And you want to see a sellout?
Why not? I mean, we're 3-0. We're one of the best teams in the country, have been for the past 10 years if you go by record. And what are the excuses Saturday at 1:30? It's not Thursday night, it's not Friday night, it's college football in Provo. So it'll be a great gauge for me to see exactly what our fan base looks like at home.
So for the fellow who said, they're not in the afternoon anymore,
yeah,
got one in the afternoon on Saturday.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, we were the only game of the night Thursday night. That means worldwide, national, amazing coverage to promote our program. And you can watch it at home. Holly does sometimes, and I can't say anything about that. But man, it's a cool place to be if you don't want to watch it at home, to be in Lavelle Edwards Stadium. And for the 55, 58, 50 whatever that were there, we really appreciated it. Our players really appreciate it, and so do our coaches, and so does our program. And so not belittling anything that they did. And the Rock, they're there. We have a team walkthrough at 10 p.m. the night before, and there's hundreds of students there. So I'd love to see more of that. And the only way I think I can help influence that, or one of the ways, is just to help us keep playing well.
It's a one-game season, and you're living in the moment, but are you and your guys enjoying life on the national stage right now?
I think all we're enjoying is acknowledgement for a job well done to this point. And to really go any further than that, I'm forced to talk about it because of the national landscape. But I do everything I can on a daily basis for our team to be in the moment, on that day, in that practice, preparing for that game. And the outside influence keeps kind of pulling us farther ahead or looking this way. And
it's your job to...
Every day we're working on bringing it back, bringing it back, bringing it back.
All right, it's time to get artistic here.
We have the score right
33-25.
33-25. And then I like to do that. And that. Right. So we going up? Is that where we're headed?
Virginia Cavaliers.
Yeah, Virginia Cavaliers. So it looks something like that, and then there's these swords crossed.
Oh, that's already looks great.
How about that? That's pretty good.
That's about as perfect as that's the first round of applause.
That's a good sign from that. Looks like a wolf dog something. Yeah. The Longhorn. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yep.
Thursday weekend. Strong recovery.